Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to the Sunday Surgery, Game Week 5 Sunday Surgery. Steve-O! How's it going, man? It's been a while since I last spoke to you. You had some players play today. How did it go?
Yeah, 24 hours. Dire day, and that's just the football. That's just the football. What an absolute
I had a dire day,
shower
mate.
of shite that was today.
Do you want to know about my day?
Tell us about it, because it's been more interested in the football.
So, dropped my wife off at work. So I had a day with my little one, and I went to replace the battery out of my microphone. So I've got this wireless microphone. It's got this rechargeable battery in it, and it's basically like a heavy duty wireless mic. And I just unscrew it at the back. It's a Sennheiser high quality wireless microphone. I had it for quite some time, and I'm unscrewing it and it jams. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like, it gets tighter and tighter and it jams, and I'm like, oh no. So I've always thought, right, if it's the thread, if something's going wrong with a thread, right, let's go the other way. Let's tighten it back up again. Because I thought, right, so I tightened it back up and it became loose again, but then it came really like tight again, and I screwed it right up and it jammed, and it was proper jammed. It didn't move. I was like, oh no, what's going on? Bear in mind, this mic is about £600 worth with the system as well, with the wireless system. It's a professional one. It's a professional mic. I got it like last year as a treat, and essentially I was panicking. I was really panicking. I was thinking, how am I going to get this off without like having to really damage it? Because it was like really hard. So I went over to my brother-in-law's, and he's a big guy, and he couldn't do it. So me and him, we got some like rubber gloves and like held on and see if we could do it. We couldn't do it. So in the end, we had to get like some adjustable pliers and literally sink the teeth of the pliers into the coating of the mic. Like, bear in mind, this is like beautifully, like, it's a beautiful metal with a matte finish, and basically scratched the living shit out of the microphone. Did we get it open after about 15 goes? We managed to get it open, greased out the thread, and there's a load of gunk in there, but I couldn't understand where it'd come from. But moral of the story is, I guess just don't jam a thread when you're undoing it or something, because it must have been the way I was undoing it. I was unscrewing it too quickly or something. I don't know. So what I've done now is I've used wire wool, and I've got rid of all of the paint off the top, and it's got this really nice nickel. It's a shame really, because it's scratched up pretty bad. So I used wire wool to get all the paint off, and it looks so nice, this nickel sort of finish. It's like a chrome, like microphone finish. It's like, oh, this is really cool. But because it's got the scratches on it, I thought, right, let's prime it and then let's spray paint it. I went down to Halfords. I got this primer for $5.99, and then I looked on their spray paint section, and they, I thought, I'm not going to go matte because it was matte black before. This is an opportunity to do something different, right? So what did I go and do, Steve-O? I bought some glow-in-the-dark paint.
Shit out of it.
I bought some glow-in-the-dark paint. I bought this like blue. This blue. It's like it's like a light blue color. But when it's exposed to UV for a few minutes, it starts to glow in the dark. So I'm thinking, like, in the gigs, if I spray it this blue, it's going to look pretty cool in the gigs. So I'm going to see what it looks like. I'm going to see what it looks like anyway. If it looks crap, then I'll have to wire wool it down again and get rid of it all, and I'll just go with the nickel sort of the metal coating that's underneath. But yeah, I just thought I'd share that story with you. That's my day today. I've not watched any of the football today, primarily because I didn't have any differential. I didn't have Saka playing. I saw that Chilwell wasn't playing, and I was like, oh, great. So people are going to get jammy bench boost points off the bench, aren't they? Well, mainly ones and twos. I grant that. But there's going to be people out there that they've got some jammy points from somewhere, guaranteed. And Yeah, I just saw that Chilwell wasn't playing. I was a bit confused as to why he wasn't playing. Just maybe the chat can tell me, or you can tell me why Chilwell wasn't playing. And yeah, I saw that Jackson did nothing again. Anything else? Yeah, I've got one more player to play. I've got Turner in goal to play tomorrow night. So I need him to get a clean sheet. I need him to get 6 points, and then you can match, your Saka point haul. Saka came through for you, man. You got to be happy about
that. Not really. Well, obviously, I'm happy that he came through with an assist, a very, 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 very lucky return. If that game ended 0-0, Everton have done an excellent job defending. That game was fucking appalling. I just saw Burnley in that match. That's all I saw was how we used to play every single game. And it really angered me watching Everton just sit back and do fuck all for the whole game. And just Arsenal pass, attempted shot, goes miles over. Mate, Saka is on the chopping board for me. As I messaged you earlier on, I'm 0.1 short of doing 2 transfers I want to do. If I could do it for free right now, I'd do it. I'd just get it done, and that would be a
What would those transfers
12
be? What would those transfers
total
be?
Sterling and Chilwell out for Diaby and Trippier. Quite simple, really. But I can't do it. I'm 0.1 short. It's genuinely really frustrating that I can't do it. And I really want to do it, but I can't. Because watching the Bournemouth game and Chelsea game, I've actually written down on a piece of paper an updated spreadsheet, as patronising as it comes across from other content creators. I've just written down like the teams to target to have at least a minimum of 2. And if you've got 3, well done to you. And rank risers and teams to avoid. And I've literally got 3 teams here which you need to have a minimum of 2, if not 3. Can you guess who those 3 teams are, Jace? You could probably guess 2.
Man City.
Yep.
So it was, wait. You're saying that a minimum of 2 players, if not 3. Aston Villa, yeah. Man City.
The Man City was obvious one. Yeah.
Aston Villa, one of them?
No.
Really? I'm only saying
they're in the rank risers.
Because you're
you wouldn't
okay. The 3 teams: Liverpool, Man City, and Brighton.
Yeah. And there's an obvious one. No.
You said minimum of 2.
Minimum of 2, if not 3.
What 3 would you have from Tottenham then? Why would you go with 3 Tottenham?
Son, Maddison, Udogie. Done. The players that you've got.
Well, I got Maddison.
Man City, it's stating the obvious, but probably having the 2 strikers plus a defender.
What about Newcastle?
I think, but if you've got Foden, I still think it's very, very good. And with Liverpool, Salah for definite. If you've got the bollocks to go with Jota and Darwin, do it. But they're just such an annoying rotation risk. But I just think that hitting their attack, if not one of their defenders in either Robertson or Trent, go for it. Fuck it. Just go for it. The rank rises, I generally see Man United, the likes of Rashford or Rasmus, genuinely. This game against Burnley, they're going to absolutely annihilate us. And I seriously recommend captaining that Rasmus.
Well, you say that.
West Ham, you could maybe have like the Bowen, James Ward-Prowse preferably in there. Brighton, problem with Brighton is that they're just so all over the place that you don't know which player to own, really, because of rotation. But certainly Matoma is that guaranteed starter. Aston Villa, Diaby, that's all you need. And maybe Digne at a push, but they can't seem to keep clean sheets. Fulham, I think from a defensive perspective, I think maybe jump on one of them just as a basic cover. Newcastle, certainly, I think 2 defenders potentially. I think.
How did Sterling play? Sorry to interrupt you.
Oh, he just does his usual shit. He does really, really well, but the end product from all the rest of them are just useless. Sterling's their best player. He's the only player for Chelsea that.
Because it's literally since that Luton game where he got 2 goals and an assist, he's been anonymous, isn't he? In terms of
no. He hasn't been anonymous. It's these other fucking players around him. They're shite. They're awful. It's embarrassing that they spent, what is it, £600 billion on 4 players, and yet they can't score a goal. It is fucking embarrassing. And Sterling is by far.
Oh my God. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Apart from maybe their defensive players like the likes of Gusto, Thiago Silva, I think looks solid. Even Sanchez, I think, is good, but they just always seem to concede such sloppy shots on goal and whatnot. But I'd be getting rid of. I mean, the players on the teams that I've got to avoid. I mean, I'm stating the obvious with all of them, but Burnley, Everton, Sheffield United, Wolves, Bournemouth, Chelsea, and Crystal Palace. Don't have any of those players near your team, but the rest of even I've got Luton as potentially for double game week 7. If you want to take a punt on one of their players, go for it. I think because they have got 2 decent fixtures. Though you could argue Burnley could be the better option for that double game week. Someone like Foster as a simple example, but certainly I'm stating the bloody obvious with most of the players. And if I could get Diaby and Trippier in, I would do it right now, right this second. But I can't. I'm gutted.
So it'd be Sterling to Diaby and Chilwell to Trippier.
Yeah. I'd love to do that move. I'm 0.1 short, Jace. I'm fucking gutted.
Well,
absolutely gutted.
Are you like Steve? And are you gutted after a disappointing weekend? Get yourself on the Discord. Get ready to come in and talk about your Sunday dilemmas. Have you made a transfer already? Have you hit the rage button? Maybe have you hit the wild card? Who knows? It's been a very disappointing game week with most people scoring the average of 30 points ish, 33, 35 points. People in the chat that's got 40 or more points will be gloating away, but guess what? We don't care. We don't want to know. I'll read some of the comments out in the chat as well, because I am reading the comments and people giving me a load. Can I just
address this? Enzo is not. Enzo, he's actually another one. I really am impressed with Enzo as well. He reminds me of Fernandes actually of Man United. The passes that he and the vision for the passes that he has. The problem with him is that he doesn't have shooting boots on. It's extraordinary watching this.
Well, that's kind of a big problem.
Yeah. But this is the thing. He is incredible player, but
yeah. Okay. Well, people in the comments saying, starting off saying, don't need to hear about your micro story. Apparently, it was boring people, and then people are tuning out and tuning into alternative FPL channels to get all their information. To get all of their.
They want to hear about. Shall I do my transfers now or wait till the fucking weekend? Fuck off. God's sake.
Oh, that's another 10 viewers gone. Sorry. But
imagine that on the official FPL show.
Steve-O, you need to get on there, mate. Yeah, I'm sure you go down like a. I imagine that you've got a script to follow. So be on your best behaviour if you ever do go on that show.
Yeah.
But no, seriously, let's just read out some of the comments in the chat. We've got 54 points this week. Calvin says, well done to you. We don't care. -20 incoming with a bench boost to cushion the blow, says Leland Edwards. I'm not wildcarding. If I get Newcastle asset in my team, it's looking nice. Chelsea could go by game week 9, though. I will not wildcards game week. A few people talking about the wildcards. The people that still got their wildcards. Owners that did Saka to Son are livid right now. I've kept Saka. I don't think they're livid. Jackson has been replaced by Archer to enable Salah and Diaby, says Natasha. Well,
I like the moves.
Certainly,
they're good moves.
Yeah, bringing them in. Good evening, Matthew. Good evening, Zimmy. Good evening, Firetog. Phil Stones is there too in the chat. Steve, are you optimistic about Man United Burnley next week? I think he pretty much just said Captain Hoyland if he got him. I don't think anyone's got him other than me, Steve, to be honest with you.
I'm dreading when we cover that game. Legitimately dreading it. I think it's going to be an absolute annihilation. I really do.
Really?
yeah, after you get a beating by Bayern Munich, you're then going to come across us, and it's going to be like, oh, we don't have to worry about Kane or whoever else plays for Bayern Munich. We just have to worry about Bayer and Akdahal and fucking Trafford and God knows who else.
Amanda Huggen Kish in the chat saying 86 points for Turner to play. Any good? Sod off. What's waiting for Jay Scott to do FPL, says Blue Shoes. Well, just wait for me to finish doing the story, I guess. But hi lads, hope your game week's been better than mine with 44 all out. No, Matty, that's a very good score for this game week. Anyone else got... okay. 37 points, says Adrian. That's pretty much par for the course. What is the average score at the moment? Let's have a quick look.
It's 38.
No, it's 40 now. It's gone up to 40.
Yeah.
So 37 isn't the end of the world. 43, yeah.
Owners.
Yeah. I just wish I hadn't captain Son this week. It's twice in 6 games I've done gone against Haaland on captaincy. It's not been the end of the world though, Matty. Honestly, could have been a lot worse. 8.6 million ranks is Chris. It's all downhill from the here. I mean, at that rank, there's very little points between ranks anyway. I think Steve-O and we were talking to each other, there was like 7 points between us last night, and we were like a million places. Sky Fantasy Football, I'm 938th in the world. Congratulations, Matty.
Yeah, I talked about it in the members video. That was absurd.
I'm 23,000 in FPL now. Best season so far. Well, let us know when you go on the FPL show. Or you might get...
Well, I would say, Jace, let us know in game week 38.
Yeah, let's go into game week 38, absolutely.
In fact, can I just make this point, actually? Can I make this actually... In fact, you've just reminded me. All these people shitting themselves about their teams right now and stuff. I was genuinely thinking this earlier. I was thinking, just do a Jason. Just sort your team out now while it's at the start of the season, when it doesn't really matter. As we keep stating this, worry about your team in game week 20 onwards. People seem to think that they've got to be winning FPL right now and all their mini-leagues out. Now, don't get me wrong. Unfortunately, there are people like myself that are so far behind that trying to catch certain individuals is almost nigh on impossible. But certainly, with a lot of us, I think just attack. And if you want to take a -12 and you haven't got a wild card, do it. Just get the players in you want and then just ride out. Like I say, I wish I could do that -12 now. I really do.
Yeah, what's so bad about Watkins? He's been ticking along nicely, says Abdul in the chat. I don't think anyone's necessarily saying he's a bad option. I think it's just a lot of points. I think there's points with DRB, like Steve was saying. I think it's more reliable. I think the assists are going to...
8 million.
Yeah, it's an awkward price. 49 points, well done, Connor. With a free hit in the wildcard next week. Okay. Apparently Real Madrid are getting smoked at the moment. I'm not sure what the score is. I don't have Saka, but I feel I should get him in. Ticks over every week, says Cornell. There's someone thinking about getting him in, Steve-O. Then we got Chilwell played 10 minutes and got booked. Yeah, I saw that. I thought, actually, you're right. There's me saying that Chilwell didn't play. He did play, didn't he?
Oh yeah. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, I said he didn't play, but I looked. He just got a yellow card. Yeah,
he looked more lively in the 10-minute cameo that he came on, the Mudryk in the 80, whatever.
FPL Bailey saying, that's spot on, Steve-O. Clean up the mess now instead of delaying the inevitable. Clean up now is good for mental health. Yeah, I'll just get them all gone. Get them gone. It's worth getting any looted players in for the double game week 7, Steve-O.
I think 1, if you really want to attack it, if you want to go for, I would probably say, if anything, either their goalkeeper for clean sheet, save points, if anything, or Morris. That's about as far as I'd go. I think a lot of us own Kabore, so we're probably going to play Kabore, despite the fact, unfortunately, certain teams have decent fixtures. So do I play, for example, Kabore over Chilwell versus Fulham, or do I play Kabore over Walker that's got Wolves away, and maybe Udogie? In fact, there we are. There's my answer. Kabore in for Udogie. Done. Just answer my own question.
What, the in doggy that you said that you need to have 2, maybe minimum 3?
Yeah, he's got Liverpool. He's got Liverpool that game week, which has got 3-2, 3-3, 4-all written all over it.
Well, you might get an assist.
He might do, but I think there's a more higher chance of Luton potentially.
Steve-O, I quote, you must have 2, maybe even 3 of Tottenham in your team, and you're going to now say getting rid of one of them.
No, I didn't say anything about getting rid of one. I'm just saying play another player over that particular individual, especially when they've got a difficult fixture.
Oh, okay.
Like
so not transfer out, but play over. Okay.
No.
Okay, I'll let you off. Which Brighton assets to get? I'm thinking March and Ferguson.
So bring in 2 players which are rotation risk. Well done. Well done.
Remind everybody we are doing Sunday surgery, so if you want to come and talk about your team, get yourself on the Discord, get yourself in the waiting room. There's 3 people in there at the moment. We'll be doing it very shortly. Steve-O, are you addressed the timer? Are we doing the timer tonight or no? I don't actually have a chance to watch the video yet. Are we going to do the 5-minute timer?
No, we are going to have the timer on, because like I said, we can't be here all night.
If the conversation warrants going over the timer, we will of course ignore the timer. But if we're just not getting anywhere and the conversations run flat, it's a good way of just moving on into the next caller. Because otherwise, the amount of times that we go around in circles repeating ourselves, it's just like, it's mind numbing. But yeah, get yourself on the Discord, come and have a chat about your team. How well have you done? Not necessarily caring about the people that have got 70, 80 points, but if you want to come on and gloat, feel free to do so. Steve-O, are we ready to bring up? Do you want to just... do we need to put your team up on screen just to show everybody what you've scored this week?
Yeah, if that's what you want to do.
Well, I'm just thought that people might be interested in seeing how you're getting on, mate.
I say they're not interested. There'll be some poor bastard that's wanting to look at it. Essentially, I found out that with early team news, even though it was like 12 hours before the match, that Isaac wasn't going to be playing or starting. So I just went, right, okay, I'll just play Mbeumo over Isaac. And that was it. I just ended up playing a 4-5-1. I was absolutely dejected when Tottenham conceded that goal.
That's ages ago now, dude.
No, I know, but still, it was completely dejecting the fact that they conceded that. I mean, I actually saw that goal this morning and just like rolled your eyes, like just fucking typical, a goal like that.
What do you think Turner's going to get for me tomorrow?
I do think we'll score. I think 3 points, 2-3 points. If obviously I'm stating the bloody obvious, but 7 points maximum.
Oh well, I'll take that massively. So you got 33 points. You've got I think you're getting a green arrow, Steve, aren't you?
No.
But
what I will say is that the history versus Nottingham Forest is very good. It's suggesting a 1-1 draw, mind. This is a game that Vincent Kompany will definitely be targeting. And certainly I think that it's going to be a very interesting game from a Burnley point of view to see how far we've come. You can't really judge it against Man City, Tottenham or Aston Villa, but versus someone like Nottingham Forest, albeit they're going to be at home, I think this is going to be a good marker to say, right then, we can't score goals, but we can defend quite well in a 1-0 loss or something. I don't know. It's not going to be a free-flowing, high-scoring game. That ain't going to be happening. It's either 0-0, 1-0 either way, or 1-1. At a push, Nottingham Forest may score 2. But it ain't going to be like 3-4 goals. And that's just total.
Okay. Well, I just thought you might be interested in knowing that. So with my minus 12, I've got 26 points. You got 33 points. That means that you go 1 point behind me.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
You're 1 point behind me and you're ranked 2.9 million and I'm ranked 2.8 million. So yes, that's shocking. Right, we're moving. We'll move on to this. We get some callers on, or we ready to do that, Steve-O? Let's crack on, shall we? So we've got animations. I don't know who posted first. Let's have a look. Who posted their team in the Skipper? Let's bring Skipper on, Steve-O. Good evening, Skipper.
I just address this comment quickly.
Yeah, sure.
And Guila saying, think I'm going to knee-jerk out Jackson for either Darwin or Alvarez. Just get on with it. Fuck me. Like, Jackson is an absolute waste of time. It's awful.
How many weeks are you going to give him?
Yeah, exactly. Because you'll be forced into it when he gets his next yellow card. So you may.
He'll be going down soon. When he'll be going down in value soon, I think. Let's have a look to see. I mean, unless he's dropping like a rock. I mean, he's still got a ways to go before he drops. He's 7.1 at the moment, so you're not going to bank any value in him anyway. But
I'm not understanding how these price rises and drops happening. I don't understand why Sun didn't go up last night. There was another player that didn't go up either last night.
No, I mean, you got to remember that these price change prediction websites, they're not fully accurate, especially not in the early game weeks. I think it takes about 10 or 15 game weeks for them to figure out exactly how it's working. But it's kind of like a secret sauce that the FPL towers have got in their servers that no one actually truly knows what the criteria is. So it's a best guesstimate is the answer to that. But Son, yeah, of course, I don't think people are going to flock to get Son in now. What's he on at the moment? So he's actually dropping in people are actually transferring him out, Steve-O. Crazy, isn't it? How so many transferred him in prior to game week 5 and now people transfer him out. But anyway, we've got Skipper here.
How are you doing, guys? You okay?
Are you speaking like that for?
What?
That sounded so posh. Anyway, go on. Oh, by the way, here's a bit of gem of trivia from the history.
We'll get around to you in a minute, Skipper. Don't worry.
In the Crystal Palace game, it did predict 3-1 to Aston Villa, and that's now 4 times in 7. The home team has won, has scored 3 goals. Nice little trivia there for you. But anyway, Skipper, what do you want to talk about?
How are we doing, gents? It's been a long 2 weeks, obviously, without the Sunday surgery. How's everyone doing?
Wow,
what do you want to talk about? I don't even care how I'm doing. What do you want to talk about?
No, it's just general FPL nonsense. It was my girlfriend's birthday yesterday, and the result of that came in the fact of some induced drunk transfers. I'm usually one for the last minute before the deadline, but I've gone early this week with Gvardiol out for Botman and Watkins out for Alvarez, which I imagine is a pretty template transfer for this week. I had 2 FTs going into this week, but yeah, it's well, just in terms of FPL, it's just been a fucking shit week for everyone, really, hasn't it? It's
the odd person's got a freak score of 50, 60, 70 points, but generally speaking, everyone's in the same boat.
Yeah, like some of us have had worse weekends than Russell Brand sort of this week, so it's it's been a bit of fun. But like, I think looking at it, like 38 with Turner still to play, I think I think that's fine for the week. Steve-O, I think Turner is going to get a big return tomorrow. You're forgetting new father vibes. He's just had a baby on Friday. So it's a guarantee that he's going to save a penalty, do 1,000 saves, and then get the 3 bonus points on top of the clean sheet. So,
Burnley don't get penalties, so that's already that prediction out the window. In all seriousness, it ain't going to be happening. He's going to get at most 7 points.
Oh, and even then,
I'll take the 7 points, mate. I'll rip your hand off for 7 points from Turner.
I'm not suggesting that for 1 minute, but clearly you're clearly still drunk, Skipper, because...
Oh, so it's like I say, Yeah, there was some drunken transfers made last night. I'm usually one for like the very last minute for the deadline, and like I'm in a good spot. Like I've gone from like 250 to like 500k overall. So like it's fucking. Do you know what I mean? Like I haven't got any major issues. But the one thing I want to speak about, like, what are we thinking of triple City attack for next week? So I've got Alvarez, Haaland, Foden.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
I'm thinking Foden is a fucking bin off come game week 8.
I don't know. I won't be so quick to judge Foden on his last couple of week performances. I think Foden for me is someone that I'm not in a rush to get rid of. He's still going to be a very important fixture in that midfield for Pep, and he's not got any signs of being out of favour. Yes, he's certainly blanked, against West Ham, but he did get an assist in game week 4 against Fulham. He got an assist in game week 3 against Sheffield United. He got an assist in game week 2 at home to Newcastle. So he has been pretty consistent in the previous 3 games. 1 blank, I'm not too worried about. I do see him getting points. And for the price, a lot of people picked him up for, was it 7.5? I think it's fine, especially in this season where money isn't an issue for a lot of managers. That's my opinion, Steve-O.
No, I don't know why Foden isn't returning as much as what you'd expect, especially with the amount of goals that City have scored this season. What has he returned this season?
Is he? Yeah, but is he on the chopping block? Is he a consideration for being on a chopping block? I mean, he's got.
Well, the fact that I got rid of him yesterday says it all. But
he's got 3 assists. That's it so far. 3 assists in 5 games.
He's basically been a Watkins in that sense. It's just been like another Watkins. Other than like, he got the 9-pointer right off the 1 assist, which is pretty freak. Like it's not very often that the person who gets just 1 assist in the game gets the 3 bonus points. So I think that does sort of paper over some cracks. I think like with Pep's comments, like what he said with Doku, like he's quite surprised of how hot Doku is already for City, and with the Grealish injury, like I don't know. I feel like Foden's taken that Grealish role in a sense where. Like I'm happy to have him in my team. Like up until
I think at the moment he's not a fire at the moment, but I think that come game week 8, game week 10, we're still looking at Foden being the assist of the assister. Then that's alarm bells. And
I'm looking to go to Foden to the RB game week 8 for that Villa fixture swing.
Yeah.
Like I plan on rolling for game 7. Like this is how my season has pretty much gone. It's like in roller transfer used to.
But if Foden starts to bang some points, getting on the score sheet, and you might have to think again, mightn't you, about what you're going to.
Like if he's there banging points, I'm in a great situation regardless, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So I don't think it's in terms of.
I could say the same thing about Rashford, to be honest.
I quite like Rashford, right? I've seen all the complaints of him this week about him being selfish in terms of.
Oh, he was awful. He was awful.
Him being an FPL asset, though, I want my FPL assets to be selfish.
Yeah, but you say that, but he could have got at least 1 or 2 assists in that game if he'd have looked up and squared it to Højlund. In the first half, there was periods in the first half where he's just so tunnel vision. It's unbelievable. Take on the player and shoot it near post. I mean, come on, look up. There's a player unmarked, or there's a player that's running into the box that you can literally square the ball to. I mean, you don't have to play FIFA to know that can be the best way of just putting the ball in the back of the net, just cutting it inside. I mean, that's essentially what Wolves were doing. Like Wolves were cutting it. Wolves were playing it in inside in the box to a late running from a midfielder. So ultimately I just think that Rashford for me, sorry, not the Wolves, Brighton, sorry, but I think you get what I mean.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I tell you what though, I'm really liking Rasmus eventually as that second striker.
Yeah. I'm at the point of saying get rid of all your United assets at the moment. I'm just so angry right now with Man United. Just get rid of them. They're bloody toxic. They're all bloody crap. Don't have them in. But you're right. I get what you're saying. Rashford is not someone that yeah, you know, you want a selfish player in your team. I get what you're saying. Ten Hag loves him. He's not going to drop him. He's going to play 90 minutes pretty much week in, week out. I get you. I'm just angry.
Yeah, for sure, Jace.
But I completely agree. I think that if Foden's not returning, he's definitely one to move on, especially when you've got other options out there like the DRBs. So yeah.
That's great.
Cheers.
Like, what do you guys think? Like, obviously, Steve, I know you've wildcarded already. Jace, what do you think? We discussed. Well, we talked game week 4 about the game week 9 wildcard. I think that's quite convertible now. I think we'll see a lot of people miss out on won't go for that game week 9 wildcard now, or game week 8 game week 9 wildcard. I think now, like, people either go like Alvarez or and go from a Chilwell or a Man City defender to like go three Man City attacks. Sorry guys, I had a few beers today for the Arsenal game, but it's like, what do you think of like this game week 9 wildcard for this Liverpool fixture swing? Like you said, Steve, like a lot of these people like.
Time is gone. No, but to answer your question, if you've not used your wild card, why haven't you used your wild card? It's because you thought your team's good enough to continue, and then, you know, what's your plan to use your wild card? And there's quite an obvious fixture swing in game week 9, right, Steve-O? And you know, I think that's the optimal time to use it. If you're gonna hold on to it, that'll be the time to do it.
But the game week 9 wildcard, right, was to capitalize on Liverpool. Like, I still think there's like Salah is the only Liverpool asset worthwhile having.
Diaz, I think, as well. Diaz could be.
He's going to play 90 minutes every game. Like this is the thing, right?
Well, I think it was the whole travelling back from international break. I think that's why
but I don't even think it's that. Like, I think if you're going to go Diaz, why don't you go Szoboszlai instead? He plays 90 minutes every game and has scored as much as Diaz this season.
Okay, well, I mean, again, if you've not used your wild card, what are you going to do with your wild card? When to plan to use it? It's completely up to you. Essentially, it's six.
I'm just on about like the chat about the game week 9 thing. Like, I think like this seems to be like quite heavy on game week 9 going for it, but I think that'll quickly disperse over the next 2 weeks.
Steve,
I'm just questioning why you're focusing on what other people are thinking. Just think about your own team and why you need to wildcard. If you're wanting to wildcard,
I know what I'm doing. I'm just speaking generally. Like, it's just like, you know, it's a phony intro, right? For just to talk generally.
Well, no, but you've brought up a point about the fact that others are talking about doing a wildcard in X, Y, and Z game weeks. Who cares what others are doing? This is what, again, I find FPL so fascinating when it comes to having to go with what others are saying rather than, I mean, I get caught up in it. Rather than just going with your own thought process and going, do you know what? I don't like my team. Just do this. Done. Nah. But
this is my own thought process, because I was like, I'm not doing the game week 9 wildcard now.
So are you just going to assess it week in by week out? Is that what your thoughts are then? Instead of doing it on a fixture swing, you're literally just going to go, right, if I don't need to use a wildcard, I don't need to use my wildcard, and I'll just keep going until I've got five or six problems in your team that you just stumble across, and then
I'm someone who's very like meticulous and like will plan for the next 10 weeks, even though knowing.
So you've planned for the next 10 weeks. Does your wild card come into consideration if you've planned for the next 10 weeks? Has it come into your thinking at all?
Sounds like fire talk.
No, like this is the thing. Like, I know I say like plan for like 10, like say like speaking 10 weeks in advance, but like I know it like come game week 10, 11 or something. It could be 5-6 fucking injuries or whatever where we need to wild card into then. But no, I was just interested in what your guys' take was on the game week.
So using your wild card is a personal decision, right? There's no right or wrong time to do it. Everyone was saying, "Oh, I need to do it this week. The fixture swings are this week," and like setting it in stone and having it all planned out is one thing. But to be honest with you, I think people sometimes really put too much emphasis on their wild card, especially the first wild cards. They're like, oh, it's the holy fripping grail, it's going to sort my team out. Well, a lot of the time it's not the be all and end all, and generally speaking, a lot of people just do it because they've got fed up with X amount of players in their team and they just hit the wildcard button. That's generally what happens. It's not this. The vast majority of FPL players do not strategically plan their game weeks and go, right, I'm going to tactically use my wildcard this week so I can take advantage of this team, that team, this team's fixture swings. That's just not how it happens. And I think it's a very personal decision that people just go through each week and they go, you know what? I don't like this team. I'm going to hit the wildcard button. Boom. They were done. And that's completely fine. And I think for a lot of people, they're happy with playing the game that way. And for a lot of people, it works out okay. There are people that like spreadsheets, and there are people that plan and meticulously go through the game weeks, and they think, right, this is what's going to happen. This is when I use it. But a lot of the time, these people, there's spanners that get thrown into the works. You know, there's injuries, there's suspensions that get thrown in, and then obviously there's player form that gets thrown into the mix. And I think having the sort of playing it by ear attitude and mentality with a wild card is probably the best way to go, and not having too much of a yeah. And I think that's what you're going to do, and I think that's what you should do.
Like I say, and my last one is things I know is other people. What are we thinking of Edouard over Eze, and Edouard taking that third striker slot?
I think midfielders are just too good in the game for price point and for the points. I mean, the fact they get more points per goals and assists, and you get a clean sheet bonus. I just think that 2 strikers is probably enough. I don't think you need to go with 3. I'm personally not a massive fan of Palace, but Edouard, I know Edouard's kind of been sort of scoring and he's been playing well, but again, I just don't want to kind of ruin my team with that third striker spot. Steve-O, what's your thoughts on that?
I just agree with you. This is why you should be going on the FPL show, not me.
Oh, get off of it, mate. Right. Anyway, we need to get on with the callers. I hope we've answered your questions.
Yeah, no, it's great, guys. No, just for a little chat. Like I said, my transfers went early, so there was a thing. It was just I like chatting FPL with you guys, so that was all.
Thank you, mate. Thank you. And another Welsh person that watches our show.
Here we go, nailed it in one.
Yeah, well, we get quite a few people from Wales watching our show. Maybe we do something right. We get a lot of appreciation from the Welsh. That's pretty good. They like it said as it is. Maybe that's what it is. I was just calling out Shagar in the chat, not Shagmire, Shagar in the chat, who's also identified himself as Welsh. So who we got up next? So thank you again, Skipper, and I'll see you soon. Take care, mate. And happy belated birthday to your missus. I hope she had a good time.
Juggernaut saying, I followed Steve on Instagram. Mate, there is absolutely no... In fact, I'm probably going to delete Instagram. I don't even know why I've even got it. All he posts is WE stuff. Yeah, I post that. The last thing I posted on Instagram was probably like 3 years ago. Yeah, I wouldn't bother following
Instagram is one of those things I can never get into. I got onto Twitter, which is now X. I can get that, but I think I just missed the boat with Instagram. I really didn't. I didn't really, and don't even talk to me about this other thing, what they call Snapchat. I don't even know. Like, I've never understood.
That's bizarrely, Snapchat is huge in America. Like, the technology it uses is like proper.
Well, it's just messaging, right?
But, sorry?
It's just messaging, isn't it?
No, it's Instagram stories, but they get it's Snapchat is something which was used for, shall we say, kids in this country to be sending explicit pictures to one another, and it got into some serious trouble. And it's pretty messed up, to be honest with you. I discussed it on Total Steve-O.
Okay,
it's basically something in which you see a 6-second clip of something, and that's it. It's just aimed at mindless individuals.
Sounds like something that needs to be banned.
Well, it was on the verge of being banned, but
because it could be abused.
They've changed their marketing thing and everything. But the thing is that TikTok's just taken over the planet. Instagram is now just become like what Facebook was. And then soon TikTok will become what Facebook and Instagram is now. And then it just goes on And yeah.
Oh, that's another one. TikTok. I mean, I can't. Do you know? You get people that literally have their phone on TikTok, and I admit I'm one of these people. Not on TikTok, by the way, because YouTube have got these shorts now.
Yeah.
And I go on YouTube, and I'm literally like, I go on my subscriptions on YouTube, and I'm like, oh yeah, and then all of a sudden, I'll see a short pop up on there, and I'll click on it, and I'll be like, oh, that's interesting. What's that? It'll be like something football related, and then I swipe, and it's another video, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
and then I swipe, and then it's another, and then before I know it, I'm in this trance, and I'm like looking at my phone, just doing this, and then like, an hour goes by, or you know, and I'm like, what is happening with my life? And you know, and I tell you now, it's bloody crazy. It really is. I've got this thing on my phone that tells me how many hours I spend on my phone, and every week I try and not go over it. But unfortunately, a lot of a lot of the time now spent on my phone is playing chess. Believe it or not, just
the trigger lips.
playing chess and yeah, I like playing chess. Yeah, not always good at it, but but anyway, yes. Who we got next on? We've got
Vijay,
animations.
top of the YouTube chat league, or
Well, animations posted first. Animations, how's it going, my friend? You okay? Well, thank you for waiting.
Hello. What's going on, boys?
Wow, you've got over 40 points. Congratulations, you're above average.
Well, no, I'm not. I've got. I took a hit.
Oh yeah, okay.
What was the hit?
So basically, it was what I was saying to you guys on Thursday, but I ended up transferring out Jackson and Foden, and I brought in Alvarez and Mbumo. I mean, it hasn't worked out. I don't think 100%, but I think
Mbumo's
I've
going
gained...
up tonight. Just let you know.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I looked at his fixtures, and I think he looked decent in the Newcastle game, and I think against Everton, I mean, they looked awful against Arsenal today. I mean, but the game, like Steve I said earlier, was just dire. Nothing happened apart from the Saka assist, which I got a bit happy about.
Everton were awful in the sense from attacking perspective, because Sean Dyche just went, we're playing a 4-6. That's it. And then occasionally Decore, if you get the opportunity to run forward, do it. That's all the game plan was. But just replace Decore with Chris Wood. That's all Everton's goal was, to get a 0-0. And it's like Mark Goldbridge said, and this is what sparked me off thinking about the transfers and people shitting themselves doing transfers now. It's Mark Goldbridge made the point. I can understand if Everton were playing like this in April, where they're desperate for results and stuff or whatever. But in September, where you're kind of wanting to kind of try and set a marker down and, you know, try and impress your fans or whatever you want to do, and maybe get a free flowing movement going with the team and everything. And instead you just literally are just man marking every single player.
He's got to be one of the first managers out the door, surely.
I've already predicted it. I predicted it. He will be gone. Do you think
he survives this side of Christmas?
No, second international break, he's gone, I reckon.
Yeah, if you remember the season he was fired, Burnley didn't fire him when they should have done, which was, I think it was the second international break. They should have fired him then when we lost to Norwich. That's when he should have been gone. But for whatever reason, the owners went, no, we're sticking with him. And it's like, you can see the writings on the wall.
Yeah.
He's gone. His head has gone.
Losing
1-0 club right now.
Losing 1-0 at home to Fulham, 4-0 away at Villa, which is fine. I mean, Villa are a good team. 1-0 at home to Wolves. They drew against Sheffield United 2-2. I mean, to be fair, they can turn it around. They've had some tough games. Villa away is a tough game. Wolves isn't, that Wolves have been playing good football. Sheffield United, I mean, they should have got something out of that, really. That was a game that they needed to get points from.
Well, weren't they losing 2-0 or 2-1 in that game?
But they were losing 2-0 because I think, or there might have been 1-0 maybe, and then the other one was deflected own goal, wasn't it?
I can't recall, but the Arsenal. I mean, Arsenal's not an easy one. I mean, what's their upcoming fixtures?
Got Brentford this week. They're definitely losing that, and Boomerang's going to get a goal or two.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too. Yeah, I mean, they've not got some great fixtures, have they? Yeah, I'm concerned. If I was an Everton fan, I'd be very worried. But he's got time.
I think they already are, Jace. I don't think. I think they've been worried since the end of last season. They thought this season they'd be turning it around.
They haven't got a Premier. Their team isn't Premiership quality, though, is it? Really, let's be honest.
Well, it is, but so in that Sheffield United game, they were 1-0 up because of Decore. Then they went 2-1 down, thanks to a Jordan Pickford own goal, and then Danjuma scored in the 55th minute. This is a team which has got Premier League worthy talent.
Are you sure? Manager. Are you sure about that? Premier League worthy talent.
I think Pickford's a very good goalkeeper. I think Patterson is a very good upcoming.
How many saves has Pickford made?
You've got admittedly Tarkowski is more of a championship player now, but I've heard good things about this Braithwaite. Ashley Young again, he's another one. Perfect player for Dyche, experienced head. McNeil is unfortunately McNeil is a high quality championship player. I don't think
okay, let me get who gets into the Wolves squad then? Who gets into the Nottingham Forest squad? You know, who gets
I think the
who takes first spot? I mean, maybe Pickford maybe a push. See Tarkowski for me, he's not cutting it anymore.
Well, I just said he's not worthy of the Premier League spot. But the point being is
Ashley Young isn't going to take anyone's spot.
No.
Yeah, I mean that Danjuma you like. I mean, maybe, but yeah, I worry. I think they're going. I think they're definitely going down. I really do. The time has gone off, but we will continue because it's been us talking. But going to your team, what animations? What are you doing? Are you sticking, twisting? What are you doing?
Well, I was coming on here to say just a few things about my team and about some other bits, but I'll get to my team first. I won't take out too much time, but the team, I'm happy with it. I think, like Steve was saying, people are panicking about early transfers and stuff. I'm as cool as a cucumber. I think I know my 100% my transfer is going to be. I think it's going to be Trippier in for Saliba, and then that's my team. And
brilliant.
I think with it, like most people while they're panicking. I mean, I look at my team and I think, who's a bad player in that team? Like seriously,
Chilwell.
No, it's not. It's
not.
I
like Chilwell
football options.
Oh yeah.
I don't think at the moment. I mean, I own Sterling, I own Chilwell. I'm not in a massive dilemma at the moment owning them.
He will be after Aston Villa.
What against Luton and who else have they got?
Do you think own to Villa? You think they're not going to do anything?
Aston Villa are going to destroy him. If Aston Villa play to the capabilities that they're able to, and Chelsea play at their substandard level they're playing at the moment, Aston Villa are winning that 3-4-1, 3-4-0. Genuinely.
Okay.
The history suggesting Aston Villa to win 2-0.
Okay.
In fact, the history suggesting a low-scoring game, like it suggested today. Chelsea hate playing Bournemouth. They hate it. And at the moment, as of late, they hate playing Aston Villa as well. So I'm telling you now, next week, everybody is going to look at this Chelsea moving forward, going into game week 7 and thinking they've just lost 4-1 to Aston Villa. They've got Fulham next at home, who Fulham are a pretty coherent level team, the keyword being team. And I think that game has got 0-0, 1-0 to Fulham, or 1-1 written all over it. People are just thinking of Chelsea in the past, and I've seen Chelsea. I think I've watched literally every single Chelsea game this season, and all that stands out is Sterling and Fernandes. That's it. Yes, Gusto does look threatening. Who's he passing it to? There's no one there. There's no one there to pass to other than Sterling. Jackson is just absolutely hopeless. Gallagher. Jeez, I don't even know how Gallagher even gets to the team. Like, he is. There's a championship player in Gallagher. I don't know why Casado didn't play, but I'm assuming it's because of international duty. Cole Palmer, I think he should be starting potentially ahead of Gallagher. I'm sure someone's saying, yeah, but they play in different positions. They probably do. But there are players for... Matsson's another one. I don't know why he isn't given a bloody opportunity to play. He is absolutely fantastic. Maatson is. Now we'll just leave him on the bench. He chose Chelsea to stay at Chelsea because he wants to play for a team to push for the Champions League spots and maybe win some trophies this season. But instead of going to Burnley, where he knows that for fact, yeah, all right, then I did really well for them. But you know what? I want to challenge whoever in that Chelsea team to prove my point. But I think he's done enough to prove his point to start against Aston Villa. But Pochettino won't do it. He won't do it. He'll still consist with Gallagher and Mudryk and Jackson and God knows who else. It's fucking terrible. It is. And ironically, I know for fact, obviously we've all got hindsight now, but I wish I'd done my wildcard today, just start my wildcard today after international break. But that's all based on with hindsight now.
Yeah. Your team had a problem. I mean, you've got no major issues with your team, mate. I won't get too...
Oh, no major issues. But there are players that I want, which I can't, get in. So for argument's sake, if I was doing a wild card now, Cash would be gone. Walker, well, Chilwell definitely gone. Walker would probably just about stay, so that's 2 already. Saka would probably just about survive as well, but Sterling would be gone. And then it probably would be Alvarez and Haaland. So, yeah, and that way, with Matty Cash gone, I could have DRB and Trippier instead of Chilwell and what's his face, Sterling.
Okay, well, I think time-wise we need to move on to...
But can I just make this point with your team animations is looking really, really good for next week.
Yeah.
Really good.
I wouldn't even make a transfer, to be honest.
Well, yeah, the last point I'll take about it will only take like 2 minutes, but with my team, I'm trying to get set up for a game week 9 wildcard, like you guys were saying earlier, because the main player I think my team would need is Salah, and I think if I can get Chelsea through like the Luton game and stuff like that, and they at least return something, or not Luton, who they got, Fulham and Burnley, sorry, whoever they got. I think if I can get them through that and they can get me some points to game week 9, then I'll be content. But yeah, I mean, I'll take into account what you guys have said and stuff, and but yeah, it's just like I said, I'm very happy. So I appreciate you.
You're in a good position to have your wild card, and you can certainly plan ahead with it. Of course, like Steve said, he wishes he could have maybe a bit of hindsight and play it, but I think ultimately you can take advantage of just getting out the fodder, the ones that are failing, the likes of Sterling. You might even decide that you want to shake things up and get rid of Maddison. Who knows? Steve-O was saying about having 3 Tottenham. I think Saka is another one which could potentially be on a chopping block for many people. But you're in a good position. You've got a good team. You've got a transfer if you want to use it, and you've got your wild card to play in 9 if you want to. But I'll just roll it personally.
Yeah, I mean, the team's good enough, I would say, but
yeah,
we shall see. I mean, I just want to quickly shout out Odin as well for gifting me that sub, and
yes,
the video that I saw earlier from the stuff about the 5-minute time. I'll have just a quick discussion about that. I promise I won't take any more time, guys, but
yeah,
I just want to say that I love the 5-minute timer, and I think it gives people a good amount of time to explain. I mean, obviously you get people on like Ray and Max and stuff like that, and I just think they want the more serious conversations. But I think if you had like 6, maybe 7 people in the waiting room, for example, and they want to come on air and discuss their team, I'm all for that 5-minute timer. So that's all I wanted to say about that, really.
Yeah, I think it's a balance that we're trying to strike. Now, whether that's we work something out that's a bit more fair or just lets the conversation... at the moment, I think if the conversation's flowing, we just let it go over a little bit. But it's good to have it there so that if the conversation's not going anywhere, we can just move on without offending people. Right. thank you so much, Animations, for coming on, man. All
Yeah,
the best.
thanks for having
where,
me,
where
guys.
are you? You're in the world at the moment.
Bring in Trippier.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Do
thinking.
it. Do it.
There we go.
Just do it.
I don't know. I think I'm like 2 million or something. I haven't had a look at my rank,
You're
but
near us then. You're near
I'm
us.
sure I'll tell you guys.
You're doing
anyway.
well in the YouTube chat league. That's all you need to know.
There you go.
If you're doing
Take
well
care,
in the
Animations.
YouTube, well
exactly.
overall. Don't worry about it.
Cheers, guys. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate
Cheers,
it.
man. Cheers. Have a good remainder of your weekend. Right, we've got Vijay Garth, who's been patiently waiting.
Top of the
Vijay Garth,
league.
thank you so much for waiting, Vijay, for that, being patient. Congratulations for being top of which league, Steve?
The YouTube chat league.
Top of the YouTube chat league, Vijay Garth.
Yeah,
How's it going,
thank
man?
you. Good evening, everyone. Everything's going well.
Tell us how to play FPL. Tell us how you do it.
Just get lucky. That's all.
Getting
Get
lucky.
fortunate.
Getting lucky.
Yep.
Captain
Very
Salah this
fortunate.
week. Getting got your captain spot on this week. Notable mentions. You have, I mean, to be honest with you, Gusto, Saliba, Saka, Haaland. That's pretty much, the bulk of your points there. What's your thoughts? Yeah, this one for you, because you're doing so well. I'll be very curious to hear what your thoughts are regarding Foden. I was saying about holding on to him, not a fire at the moment, but what's your thoughts on him?
I think Foden will stay in my team because still very good fixtures, and like it was mentioned on a previous stream that even in the tough fixtures, it would give Foden, the other attackers, more space, and Foden can exploit the spaces and probably get some returns, hopefully, in the future. And probably outscore Alvarez, hopefully, because that transfer going against Alvarez didn't work, to say the least.
Are you thinking of getting him in?
Not at the moment. I think I'm thinking of getting a Newcastle United defender.
Trippier by any chance? Trippier by any chance?
I can
Or
only get
Botman?
Trippier. I think it's going to be one of Share or Botman by selling William Saliba, because
Okay.
I don't think Trippier is too much for 6.5, and the clean sheets should be enough. Of course, Trippier can get an assist and 3 bonus in some game, but I'm not too worried about that.
Steve-O, is Trippier too much at 6.5?
Based on last season, no. Their upcoming fixtures are absolutely stunning. And I mean stunning. They have got Sheffield United away. I would like to think, actually, ironically, I think that Sheffield United have a good chance of getting something from that game, but then it's Burnley at home. They're going to annihilate us. West Ham away, horrible. Crystal Palace at home, clean sheet guaranteed there. Wolves away, clean sheet guaranteed. Arsenal at home, forget about it. And then Bournemouth away, guaranteed clean sheet. So they got 3 or 4 give or take clean sheets over the next 7 game weeks. Trippier, with obviously his set piece threat and freedom to run down that right hand side, I just think that 6.5 is just worth it. However, if you really are wanting to bring in a Newcastle defender without wanting to take a hit, I think certainly the likes of Botman or Sharo, Dan Burn, whoever you feel necessary just to cover the clean sheets and potentially have that goal threat from a set piece is worthy of bringing in. I would assume that Botman is probably one of the most safest individuals. Actually, in fact, I would say it's Dan Burn, isn't it? He's probably the safest player to be bringing in. But from an attacking perspective, obviously, Shah is someone that's renowned for getting attacking returns. Even Botman himself, I remember last season owning him, and he was a very frustrating player because he was the one. I'm sure Botman was the one that wasn't allowed to go forward that much, from what I remember last season.
Yeah, he's pretty much stays back and comes.
Yeah, so
the odd corner he goes up, but generally he stays back.
Mainly it's Shah and Dan Burn that get to move forward. Who would you be bringing in? The Newcastle player for the Arsenal defender?
Saliba.
I think it'll be Fabian Schär. Most likely, not confirmed, but I think that's what I'm leaning towards.
Yeah. Who for?
William Saliba.
Oh yeah, Saliba. Yeah, you must have been gutted that Chilwell didn't start to get double Chelsea clean sheet. That would have been phenomenal.
Yeah, that would have been really nice. But when I saw Chilwell was benched, I was hoping he comes on, gets an attacking return or something. But then he just comes on a few minutes later, gets a yellow card, and can't even get Kabori's 2 points now. And yeah, doom and gloom, but it's fine. Gusto gets a clean sheet, damage limitation, I suppose.
I think, to be fair, Chilwell did look really good when he came on. It's like I said, so I think Pochettino's still trying to work out how he's going to play with this team, the correct formation and everything. And there are certain players that look like they're going to be guaranteed to start for Chelsea, whereas there are some where it's like, well, I like you, but I just don't know how to play you. And I think Chilwell's best position is when he's overlapping another player. A bit like with Robertson when he played for Liverpool, when he plays for Liverpool, his best players when he's allowed to overlap and he's got that cover behind him.
Yeah.
But what made you, just of interest, go Salah captain this week rather than the popular choice of the robot?
It's just I felt that I saw the Crystal Palace versus Wolverhampton game, and they struggled away, and Crystal Palace got 3 goals, and I thought Salah maybe he can probably at least match Erling Haaland, but it turns out, and I decided to go against the grain for once, and it worked. Salah gets 4 more points, and that was my way of thinking, like going by the previous fixture and just thinking he can match the robot.
You've got double Nottingham Forest tomorrow evening. You're clearly confident that, well, I mean, admittedly, the players that you've got on the bench, it makes sense that you're obviously playing Turner and Awoniyi. What are you expecting from that game, score-wise?
I predicted a 1-0, actually, just a 1-0, pretty dull game, and hopefully Awoniyi gets on the end of the goal and gets an attacking return to top of the week on a high. But I think it'll be a low-scoring game, even though Burnley are very attacking. I think they can score a goal as well, and probably will. But I think it'll be low-scoring for some reason. Considering it's at the City ground, they'll try to hold off the attack Burnley have been showing since the start of the season.
Yeah, I think that Nottingham Forest could potentially exploit our high line, which could be a possibility of a problem. But I just think that from a possession-based point of view, we're going to have so much of the ball, but it will be that one mistake from us which is going to allow the attacking force of the likes of Awoniyi to take advantage. I mean, Nottingham Forest this season, they have scored 1 goal against Arsenal, 2 against Sheffield United, 2 against Man United, and then they scored 1 against Chelsea. And ironically, they lost 1-0 to us in the League Cup. Admittedly, they had a weakened team, whereas we pretty much played the team that won the championship. So it is going to be a different game tomorrow evening, but I agree with you, Vijay, that it is going to be a very low scoring. Like I say, I think Nottingham Forest at most score 2 goals versus us. Do you think you're going to continue this high scoring rank throughout the season, or do you normally tail off? I mean, I'm just going to quickly look at your game week history here. It is it's actually very good. You had one season which is, for an OCD individual like me, is a bit like, wow, 7-5, 7-5, 7, 21-22. So you got a bit of the pattern. You have a poor season followed by a good season, poor season, and then you're following up this season with a very good one. So do you think you're going to continue with this extraordinary rank of where you are now of 1911th?
I personally don't think I will be able to do that, because we are still in game week 5. Obviously 33 game weeks still left. A lot will happen. Many things will keep changing over the season, and I think this will balance out and probably will end up somewhere around how I finished in 21-22. Hopefully, at least. But yeah, I think that's what will happen. It'll just average out.
Absolutely. And make sure you do that transfer. Have you got money? I'm assuming you've got money in the bank. Let me just have a quick check. And the answer is you've got 1 million bank, so you can pretty much do anything you want. But it's looking like you said, that you're going to bring in a Newcastle defender, which I think is an amazing transfer to do.
Yep, that's pretty much the focus. And the 1 million is actually reserved for Archer to Carlton Morrison game week 7 for
Brilliant.
the double.
Yeah. I think it's a wise move bringing in, if anybody, a Luton attacker. I think that's the best option, just to punt on that game week 7 and see if Luton can take advantage of playing against Everton and Burnley. There we are, Jace.
Vijay Garth, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
And again,
good luck with the
well
rest of the
done.
season, genuinely.
Keep doing what you're doing, because what you're doing is
Thank you so much.
You're doing everything right, it would seem. So speak to you soon, hopefully, man.
Yep, thank you. Have a nice day, sir.
And you.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Vijay Garth, everybody.
Yeah, like he said, everything's
flying high. Hello to our one Twitch viewer. Just want to say hello to you. Right, let's get on Edgeworth. Edgeworth now, who's I don't know where he is in the mix, but Edgeworth, are you there, man?
Yeah, I'm here. Good evening.
Where are you in the overall ranking without me having to look?
At the moment or at the start of the week?
Well,
right
I
now,
mean,
we don't care
yeah,
about the
right
start
now.
of the week.
Sunday surgery, not Sunday history.
2 mil on the dot.
2 mil. Oh, okay. So sort of middle of the road.
After that Chelsea game, I activated my wildcard.
Wow. Okay.
Why is that?
Because Jackson is one of the worst strikers I've ever seen, and I don't know what to say. I watched the whole match, and it's just he is so bad.
But I'm looking at your team here. Is it you really feel
can't have been
that
just
this team
Jackson
here is worthy of a wild card? Because it
can't have been just Jackson that spurs you to wild card.
So I've wanted to get Pickford out for the last couple of weeks, but I haven't been able to because I've had other problems. And then obviously the 2 Chelsea attackers, and Henry just got injured, I think I've done 8 changes so far, but it's mainly because I wanted to get the 2 Chelsea guys out, a new keeper, and sort out my defence, which, as you can see this week, it was awful.
Holy moly!
So what wild card have you done? What have you actually done?
So I've done Pickford the Burnt Neno. Let me get it up quickly.
Are you able to post it?
Yeah. I'll
quick shout out to Firetog.
To see what you've done.
This is just the first, it was just the first.
1 second. Shout out to Firetog, 46 months. Hit the like button if you want to see Steve-O tick a -12. Very, very good,
Firetog.
Hit the like button. If we get over 100, if we can get over 100 likes, we'll make. If we can get over 100 likes, we'll force Steve-O to do a -12. Sorry. Let's get back to the Edgeworth. Sorry, man.
Yeah, this is just it was just the first reaction. As I hit my wild card, I did this.
Yeah, see it. Leno in goal. Botman. Opinion. Yeah, Leno in goal. Yeah, you read it out, Steve. Go ahead.
Leno in goal. Botman, Estupinan. Is that Hickey? Yeah. Hickey, Saka, Maddison, Buemo, Salah, Diaby, Edward, and Haaland. And like you said, this is just your immediate reaction to everything. And I think I'd be avoiding Brighton like the plague, sadly. Mainly because they just can't seem to keep clean sheets. Truth be told, I just look at defenders from a clean sheet perspective, defensive perspective, rather than and with Europe as well. I mean, I'm going to quickly actually look at Brighton's upcoming fixtures, because we're already concerned about Newcastle. We know that their backline is going to be pretty much the same every single week, but we've already seen that De Zerbi is more than happy to make changes. Now, admittedly, Estupiñán is somebody that is guaranteed to be starting along with Matoma, but their fixtures as of right now they're playing AK Athens on Thursday, and then it's Bournemouth at home, decent fixture, and then it's Chelsea in the League Cup. That's got a lot of goals in it. Aston Villa away, Marseille away, Liverpool, Man City, Ajax. Do not own Estupiñán, please. In fact, do you know what, Edgeworth?
Yeah.
I would be getting in double Newcastle defence. I'd be seriously attacking Newcastle defence. Have you got any money in the bank?
Yeah, I have got. I've got 0.6 in the bank.
Can you get Trippier in for Estupiñán for that?
No, I'd have to go Chilwell to Trippier.
Sack Chilwell off. Christ, get him gone. Get Chilwell out of the team immediately. Get Estupiñán out of the team immediately. A Brentford. Let's have a quick look at Brentford's fixtures, because again, from a defensive perspective, I don't think I like Brentford a lot, to be fair. But they've got some okay fixtures at home to Everton. I'd like to think that's almost a 75 to 85% chance of a clean sheet there. Then it's the League Cup against Arsenal. Don't worry about that. Then it's Nottingham Forest. No chance of a clean sheet there. Then it's Man United. Burnley, I don't think there's a clean sheet there. Again, clean sheets aren't really happening for Brentford either.
Yeah.
How much is Hickey? 4.5 by any chance?
4.5, yeah.
Yeah, sack him off. So that's 3 players already gone from your team: Chilwell, Estupiñán, Hickey. Saka is fine to tick over, but their fixtures are turning for the worst. And to be honest with you, this Tottenham game ain't too bad, but I'm more swaying towards Martinelli. Yes, he got injured today. I get it. But Martinelli, Odegaard, Jesus, I think they look the more threatening of the Arsenal attack. Saka, I don't know what it is about him. He creates lots of space and stuff, but he seems to be right now the assister to the assister, albeit he got an assist today. I get it, but he always comes from that side. But I'm not particularly blown away by Saka, but I think to tick over he's fine. Maddison fine, Bremo fine. Salah Diaby, I mean, that midfield is a give or take. In my opinion, the perfect midfield. Do you know what? I'd probably swap Saka for Son if I was wildcarding. That's just me, but it's not a priority. And then up front, you've got Edouard and Haaland. Obviously, based on what I'm saying to you now, I don't know how much money you would have, but Edouard, is this just a pure punt? Is it somebody that you can see moving forward being someone that's going to consistently score? I mean, their next upcoming fixtures, Fulham at home, decent fixture. Not going to lie, I think they would probably win that. But then they've got Man United twice, a League Cup and then away. And then it's Nottingham Forest, Newcastle, Tottenham, Burnley. They're not the greatest of fixtures, whereas you haven't got any other Man City. I mean, have you not thought about...
Yeah, that's what one thing I wanted to see this week, to see what Pep was going to do in the Champions League, and from that, try and get a City asset in.
Who would it be? Just anybody, or...
Yeah, obviously looking at Alvarez, but Alvarez might play 90 midweek and then, or like 80, and then I don't think he starts on the weekend.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too worried about the Champions League, to be honest with you. Man City's squad is big enough to not have to worry about major rotation. I think Alvarez is one of the most realistic players to be starting for Man City. I must admit, in the highlights that I saw, all of 3 minutes, this Doku looks really good. Have you thought about considering, albeit ironically, I probably would wait for the Champions League to see how he performs against Bayern Munich, but Man United's Rasmus?
Yeah, I was actually thinking of them. That's just another thing.
It's
It's
a
just
punt.
wait for this week and see.
Yeah, I mean, judging him against Bayern Munich isn't exactly the great standard.
Yeah.
However, if he looks good, he's got Burnley next, and their fixtures. You know what? For a team which have got the likes of Fernandes, Palestri, if he plays, Garnacho, Rashford, if he decides to pass, their fixtures aren't that bad. He's a guaranteed starter. Their fixtures are as follows. They have got Burnley up next, which, like I said, I seriously think that is potentially captaincy for Rashford and or Rasmus. Crystal Palace at home, decent fixture. Brentford at home, decent fixture. Sheffield United away again, decent fixture. Obviously, you've got to throw in the Champions League and everything. Man City at home, well, there's always a chance that they're going to concede in that. Fulham, Luton, Everton. I'm genuinely jealous that Jason has got this Rasmus in his team.
I don't know if you take the piss or not, mate.
No, I'm deadly serious. I'm actually genuinely jealous.
Well, he doesn't even look like he's going to play 90 minutes at the moment. So,
well, tell us. You're the Man United fan. I mean, I'm just.
Well, apparently he's fit enough to play for his country, but not fit enough to play 90 minutes for United because he's still got a niggle. Take it as you will. I mean, yeah, hopefully it's. I don't know. It was booed when Ten Hag was booed when he took him off. Against Brighton. So will he play 90 minutes? I don't know. I honestly don't know.
I don't know that you've got 6 home fixtures in the next 7, which includes Champions League. You're at home to Crystal Palace, Galatasaray.
Steve-O encouraging others to get Jason's player before getting them himself.
I couldn't afford him. I couldn't afford him.
Literally right now, I wouldn't recommend him to anyone. But if he does well over the next few weeks, then I'm going to claim that I was a genius. There we go. That's how it's
I think he will be. Let's just Edgeworth. Just to conclude this call, I think get rid of Chilwell, get rid of Edouard, get rid of Vestupinan, get rid of Henry, and bring in the likes of Trippier, Alvarez, and God knows who else to fill in the boots. But I honestly think double Newcastle defence could legitimately serve you quite well.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on Foster? He scored in the last 2 games and he's got a double game week coming up.
Yeah, he according to Vincent Kompany, he's really, really happy with his progression so far. Like you said, he's scored 2 goals. By all accounts, the Burnley fans that are watching him live every week are very, very impressed by him. He's a guaranteed starter for us. He has got 2 tough fixtures against Nottingham Forest and Burnley, but then it's admittedly he won't play against Salford, but then it's in that double game week, Newcastle and Luton. Newcastle are going to tear us to pieces. I would not be surprised if they score 4 or 5 in that particular game. It's the Luton game. Can he score against them? Yeah, but like Vijay say, I just think that Morris is probably the one you should be getting, albeit he's 0.5 more. If you really want to be going with a double game week player, I'd be probably focusing on Luton more than I would be with us. Because against Luton last season, I'm sure both games, one of the games ended 1-0. And yeah, these are the last 3 games. 1-0, 1-1, 0-0. There's been 3 red cards across this fixture as well. 2 for Burnley, 1 for Luton.
What's your rank? Says, sorry, I just want to address that. What's your rank, guys? Too low, mate, for you to watch us. Carry on.
Yeah, who cares? I don't even care what my rank is. I mean, Burnley's history against Luton is exceptional. We haven't lost against them in 6. We've kept 3 clean sheets, and there's been 3 draws. You've got 2 1-1s, 1 0-0, and then a low scoring, like I said, 1-0. So the game ain't going to be like a. Again, I just find it so funny with FPL, like the way people talk. Oh, it's going to end up 4-0, 5-0. This player's going to do this. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. You've got to work out on the percentages, and if you've got a Luton player or a Burnley player already right now, brilliant. Is it worth bringing one in? if anything, it's going to be for me, Morris. If anything at all.
Yeah. All right. Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you, man. Cheers for coming on.
Yeah, be good to see what your wildcard turns out to be.
Take care, Mr. Edgeworth. All the best, buddy. All the best, man. Thank you.
A whole week, because it is, like I say, lots of teams in the Champions League, Europa League, Europa Conference.
Could be injuries. People taking those hits right now. There's -4s and -8s. Who knows? Could have some issues if we saw some Champions League injuries come in.
I bet you that the players, I say this all the time, the players that essentially we all expected to do well this week are going to do well in the Champions League. So again, put 50p on Haaland to score 2 or more goals against the team that they're playing against in the Champions League. In fact, I would not be surprised if Haaland scored 3 or 4 goals against that particular team. Same with Foden. I would not be surprised if Foden popped up with a goal and an assist in that particular fixture. It happens all the time. But certainly, I think that this week is going to be very interesting from the point of view of who plays for each individual team, and then the fact that a lot of these players, when we move into game week 6, where we have got a lot of games on Sunday, which we'll be covering live next week Sunday, remember that, we've got the likes of Arsenal versus Spurs. That's going to be a very, very entertaining, high-scoring game. Brighton, Bournemouth, who gives a shit about? Chelsea, Aston Villa is going to be a fascinating point of view for Unai Emery. I think this is going to be the first match where he stamps his authority down to say, we are here to be challenging for the Champions League. Liverpool, West Ham is going to be absolutely horrible, albeit I expect Liverpool to just about come out on top. And then we end it with Sheffield United versus Newcastle, where the likes of Edgeworth, I'd like to think, will have double, maybe even triple Newcastle defence. And I think that these individuals could be coming out on top. And I'm certainly not needing to desperately do certain moves, but certainly for game week 7, I think that maybe could be the time to attack that double game week just to get in someone like Morris or whatever.
Maybe not. I'm not drooling at the mouth over it personally, but yeah, go for it, man. Rip your team up for that double game.
I'm certainly very, very, very tempted to potentially bring in that Newcastle defender over Chilwell.
Botman, you mean? Or Shaw?
Shaw, probably, if anything. Okay. But that is literally going to be a case of just wait and for the Champions League, etc. I don't need to.
What do you think of this -8? I'm not going to do it, obviously now, but
what you?
Yeah,
brilliant.
No, just Sterling, Chilwell, and Foden out.
I bet you're going to do DRB, Trippier, and
for Botman, Rashford, and who was the other one? And Bremo.
Oh, bringing Mbeumo back.
Yeah, so it'd be Rashford. It'll be Rashford and Mbeumo, Botman. This is exact money right now. Exact money. Rashford and Mbeumo, Botman in.
Yeah.
For Chilwell, Sterling, and Foden. Nah.
I like the players you'll bring.
I think it's a -8 that puts me off.
Brentford versus Everton. Realistically, I think that's got 2-0, 2-1 written all over it. Obviously, can Mbeumo score?
I'm going against what I'm saying about Man United, though.
Well, hold on. Just hear me out. You've got that game. So Brentford versus Everton. Let's just quickly look at the history because the history is doing very well this season. It's suggesting, a very low scoring game. You've got 2 1-1s and 2 1-0s in there. Admittedly, slap bang in the middle at Goodison Park, admittedly, very high scoring games. But the games at Brentford have been very, very low scorings, and that's not a particularly good sign for and Buemo owners per se, and then Rashford in for Foden. You say?
Yes.
This guy that's a Planet FPL correspondent, he's basically saying that Foden's still a very, very, very good option within the game. But
Or would you get Son out?
No.
No. If you had to choose between Foden and Son, who would it be?
Son. Easily. Have you seen their fixtures? Arsenal away is going to be carnage, and Liverpool away or at home. Oh, I cannot fucking wait for that game. Please tell me that game is on TV. And the answer is, it is.
What you mean carnage is in Tottenham and not going to be able to do anything?
No, I mean as in there's going to be lots of goals. The way Tottenham are playing at the moment is going to be these next two games.
If you say so.
Tottenham away at Arsenal, admittedly Arsenal's record versus Spurs is very, very good. I still expect Spurs to score. And then you've got Spurs against Liverpool, which literally has got the history of a very high scoring game. And I would take Son over Foden any day of the week.
Well, those are the transfers on the screen for the people to see. I'm sure you're going to have your opinions, but I'm not going to do anything now. I don't think there's any price changes coming up that need to worry about. Is Jackson and Marcel chat sport? Yeah, pretty much.
But if you're seriously thinking that Man United are going to do what I think they're going to do, which is tear us a new one, then I think it would pay off massively, because I would expect Rashford to come through with a double-digit haul over Foden, who will not be coming in with a double-digit haul versus Nottingham Forest. And Buemo, I think, breaks... Who's the player that you... Sterling, isn't it?
Sterling.
I think breaks even with Sterling. And then you've got Botman. Ironically, I don't think gets a clean sheet against Newcastle, but against Sheffield United.
Right.
But it's the future, the Newcastle players that you're going to be wanting to look at, because they have got some really good fixtures.
How much is Shah?
5 million.
That's annoying.
Yeah.
But this is exact money anyway, so
well, I've always
got
I've got a rule of thumb. If you've got the exact money to do something, just do it. Just do it. It's written in the stars. It's there. It's a sign from the FPL gods to say, I've given you the money here. Just do it. And if you feel confident with these players that you're bringing in, that you want, and there's the exact money, just get on with it. That's what I say.
Is any of them going up? Let's have a look. Because if they're going to go up, then I will. And Buemo might be going up.
And Buemo's going up, yeah.
Screw it. Let's do this, chat. Let's do it.
Please do.
Boom.
Please.
Done.
Have you really done it?
Yeah. Screw it. I can't be asked to mess around with it anymore.
Fantastic. Genuinely, that scares the shit out of me. Because with you having two Man United attackers against that Burnley game, I'm dreading watching that with you. Absolutely dreading it.
On that note, mate, I'm going to have to get off. It's nearly 10 o'clock. But we will be here for those games. So do you want to just remind everyone, Sunday?
Yeah, so next week, obviously with game week 6, we'll have the usual preview show on Thursday.
Yeah.
But then on Saturday, me and Jace will be covering Burnley versus Man United. And then
Raining hits,
Sunday we'll be covering the 4 2:00 kickoffs, which is going to be it's going to be amazing. That is going to be amazing.
It's going to be fun.
I'll tell you what, Jace, I'll be honest with you. Bringing in Diaby and Shah, I think I can just hold off this week. Just.
Well, you got the money, have you?
Yeah, I've got enough money to do.
Oh, because it's not Trippier. Yeah. You're doing Shah. Yeah.
Money, but
well, you do the point hit now, can't you?
I think I can just about hold off the transfers to not go past a -4. I think that I can just hold off just, and I mean just. But I think your -8
Well, let's
will
see.
pay off massively.
Well, let's see. Right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. You've been legends, and thank you for the likes, guys. We almost hit 100 likes. Did we hit 100 like with 97 likes, 3 more likes away from 100, and then Steve has to do a -12. That was a good deal. Thank you for tuning in. Hit that subscribe button if you're new around here. Join the Discord if you haven't already done so. And see you on Thursday evening for the preview for Game Week 6. Guys,
And
Game Week 6.
remember, members, these videos.
Members
will keep
videos. Members
coming and coming
videos.
because of you,
Get the
you
comments in. Get the
poor
comments
bastards want
in.
the comments.
Get the comments in so Steve-O can do some videos on the comments. Right, guys, all the best. Take it easy. Wave, Steve-O. He's waving.
Oh, I saw you